This, Frodo, is the Master Ring, the one ring to rule them all. This is the one ring that Sauron lost many ages ago, and he greatly desires it.
But this is terrible. Far worse than all your hints and warnings.
Hello, everybody. This is my first attempt at doing extended animations using two characters and doing it in a program like Moho Pro. This is just the first part. This is basically the first scene, and it's just a part of a longer scene that's going to be about 3 minutes long once I end up getting it completed, which is going to take months to do. And this isn't even complete yet. There's a lot more that has to be done in terms of fine-tuning the animations and adding things like extra hands and hand movements. For some reason, the background didn't come through. The background is supposed to be this back here, like in Baggin, similar to what you might see in the movie in Baggin. The character design for these, and of course, I've created this in Moho Pro. Character design, I wanted to go with some of my favorite character designs for Lord of the Rings, or even for The Hobbit, is the Rankin Bass Hobbit animated movie from 1977, and then Return of the King, I think that was 1980 or 81. Anyway, that was kind of the style I was going for with Frodo here, definitely with Gandalf. Character design is really important, and trying to keep it as simple as possible for animation is extremely important. And how you put together, even a nose and a mouth, and how it works, and how many points are on each, and points in the hair and the eyes are all important down the line, unless you're doing kind of like the onion skin frame by frame animation. But since this is, you're just basically animating keyframes, you have to kind of really watch out on those things. So my inspiration is of one of my own designs years ago, which is more cartoon-like for my Hobbit characters, which really, when you look at it, is more, it's just great big head, great big round head, kind of like Charlie Brown or Peanuts characters, is what inspired me when I was younger, with a little bit of modifications. I found looking at this, it's too simplistic. It's way too cartoonish for what I'm looking to do, and I needed it to be a little bit more realistic. So like I said, some of the Rankin Bass stuff I found some of my inspiration. And also Ralph Bakshi's Lord of the Rings. I definitely found this to be quite inspirational for the scene I was trying to do. Of course, here the look of Frodo is trying to gear more towards that Rankin Bass kind of, I don't know, character design. When I did that, I kind of just traced around the head and did my own Frodo. Found just with this is like, okay, that looks more like the Flintstones to me. That looks like, I don't know why I thought that looks like Barney Rubble's face put on my original character design, and it just didn't quite work. But with some modifications, I was able to get it to look right. Oh, also, that the scene that we're looking at it from the vantage point of the fireplace, which is what the inspiration, again, Ralph Bakshi's Lord of the Rings. Here, it kind of inspired me to do it, just at least that one particular scene at the beginning. And of course, the look of Frodo, like I said, the color scheme, like for this, is more towards how it was in the movie, the same kind of hair color and tunic, like what we see here. And with some of the modifications on the face, I made him look a little bit more pleasant, a little bit more Hobbit-like, shall we say. And again, Gandalf is more more towards like what he was, how he looks in the Rankin Bass animated stories. Just slightly Ian McInnes, if you will. Although some of the colors here, color schemes I was going for with Frodo here, is more like in the Ralph Bakshi Lord of the Rings, in terms of Frodo's outfit here and the belt, green tunic and stuff like that. But took me a while to come up with this. Oh, and the idea for this originally, I didn't really know what to do. I just started to draw, started to put something down. Gandalf style here. I found this online. Of course, that's based on Ian McKellen, which I really didn't want. Of course, there's Ian McKellen there from The Hobbit. Didn't really want that type of beard. I wanted the one kind of similar to what's in the Rankin Bass Hobbit. There's another one back there. There's another style here. Oh, this. I wanted to do kind of a similar style. Let me see if I can move this. Like a long pointed nose, a kind of a jagged nose here, bridge of his nose, stuff like that. A little elongated. I wasn't going for total realism, but I wasn't going for a cartoonish, real, cartoon caricature deal. And I should say that the design of Frodo is more like cartoons that I did as a child of Hobbit characters, and I had a whole different families of Hobbits, and Bilbo and Frodo were one of them, and they just look more like simplified, not Rankin Bass style, but the Peanuts characters, Charlie Brown and Lucy and all of that. So all this is just kind of modifying my designs when I was younger to a little bit more realistic, like I said, Rankin Bass style, and who knows what else. And any type of animations that I've done in the past have mostly been in After Effects, and that's, I should say, 2D animation has just been really simple, like silhouettes and just, more effects than anything. There's the Duick style of rigging, simple animations and doing walk cycles and stuff like that, which is kind of fun to do. But again, I've never done anything quite this elaborate, and to try to get it to look at least somewhat believable, and to give the bodies a little bit of weight. Again, not fully realistic, of course, and there are people out there who can do a lot better job, but I think this is not that bad, and because I think that it works, I am confident I think I can go on to create more scenes and actually complete this animation of Shadows of the Past. And also, I'm not fairly new to Moho Pro, but I haven't used it in quite a while, and I've not used it for anything like this. Just using it for roto type animations. Moho has a lot of nice things about it, but it also has a lot of glitches. And one of the glitches is Frodo's face. When he animated, it comes out fine, but just in the composition here, his face turns out brown because I've got a gradient on it for shadows and stuff like that. It comes out fine in the animation, but for these purposes, I'm going to turn it off. Just to show you what I'm talking about, let me get to the first frame right here. Let me get to first frame. Here. This is what I'm trying to do. It's shaded. I had a shader on there, not a gradient, a shader. Let me just turn that off so you can see a little bit better. There are multiple hands here because those are eventually, one of them is going to turn off in the left hand and then turn on later. This sequence has a very curious history with The Ring, because it started out as a vector ring that I created, and then masked it, just masked a little hole in the middle. And I found I had to go and actually create a ping ring. Basically, I just brought in an image of the ring for Frodo to hold, because what happened with the original is I couldn't manipulate it well enough. It didn't work in the fingertips correctly, because I didn't want to just have Frodo hold the ring. I wanted to wiggle I wanted it to actually rub it in between his fingers. And when I went in to manipulate the ring, I had these three pieces, and it was almost impossible to go back in after the fact to like rotate it, because it just wouldn't let me rotate it. So I wanted better control. I mean, it looks okay here, the original. But I like this much better. I had more control for some reason as an image file. So what I had to do is bind it directly to the fingertips, and it worked pretty well. I really want to focus on Gandalf here. That's mainly, he's mainly the animation I want to show you, and the things that I did. Blinks and eye squints and eyebrows and hand moves. That's kind of morphing. Well, I'm not really morphing, I guess. I'm morphing not between two hands, but the movement of points to make the hand kind of go on the side from full view to like a perspective view, I guess, side view of the hand. Now, in terms of bone layers, I wanted to show you this for Gandalf. I've turned off Frodo there. Most of what I have here for very specific animations is under the Make Smart Bone dial, which first thing that I have to do with that is create a bone, add a bone, and then it'll be, you name it. First of all, make that a smart bone dial, name it what you want it to be. Minimum angle 190, maximum at 90. What I've tended to do mistakenly is separate the actions for both positive and negative angles, which basically means you're moving this at a 180, basically from beginning to end, but they do two different actions at 90 degrees, or the opposite of that. Like if I set this, I just would only be able to move this. Let me do something here. I'm afraid I messed up. Let's do that over. Make smart bone dial. Don't want this at 100 frames. You usually set this at about 18 frames. I don't know why it shouldn't be doing a second keyframe there. I don't know why it's doing that. And I also not sure why it's snapping weirdly like that. And it's actually doing the opposite of what I just said. So I think what happens is that I actually have a bone selected somewhere. I've got something selected that I didn't realize, and it's snapping to that. I'll go back to the main line. It might show something. See, it actually jumped, it actually popped down here, the bone. So something else was selected that I didn't realize. Now, what's moving here, I am assuming is his hand, so I might have had a bone selected here. So let's undo this. Kind of glad that this showed up, because you see, this was selected. Kind of glad that I did this, because that's a mistake that I've been running into a lot, and maybe other people have it as well, and just it baffled me for a long time. So I made sure that nothing is selected. Add the bone. Go up to here. There are other ways of making a smart bone dial, but this is the way that I kind of know how to use. So 18, this isn't separated, and it should stay where I left the bone. Yeah, good. So I think what it's doing is if you don't separate the two, it does it all. You can do a full 180 degrees right here. So it would just be going from beginning to end. Instead, most of these are just at 180 or at 90-degree angles. And then what it does is it creates two separate smart bone layers. See, for this, since I checked that off, it's only produced one, not layer, but, action. This is okay. It wasn't exactly what I wanted to do originally, but I thought it was good just to show you that. I'm going to undo all that and just show you these, the blinks. So it's within this layer that you can produce the blinks, and you can do them, over and over anytime you want. Add that to the main line. What I wanted to show you here is that what's happening is all I'm doing is just manipulating the eyelid. And how I did that and laid in the keyframes for that, you have to go to the actual eyelid layer. Whoops, I double clicked, didn't want to do that. So what I did under there, and I did that for a full, 32 frames? And that will be the eye blink. And you'll see there's the blink there, which if I need to go in and redo that blink, just go back into the main Gandalf bone layer, go up to my manipulate bones, and just redo the blink. Of course, now we've got kind of a double blink there, or a very slow, bad blink. Let me turn off the voice. This is the same way with the eye squints. And the eye squints were really important to me for Gandalf in order for him to work. Eye squint 3, let's just do that one. It just gave him a lot more humanity. It just showed that he was thinking, or kind of showing how dangerous the ring is just by doing that. The thing that bothers me, and it's a glitch in the system, it's a glitch with Moho Pro really, is this is technically the first frame. So when I'm beginning this thing, his eyelid is halfway closed, which should not be, because his eyelid is not halfway closed. And I don't understand why it does that, because I can't actually see exactly how the eye is going to look, because I need it to be, fully open. It kind of works with this, and I guess it's fine. I don't know if you can physically move this, like above the blink layer, and does that? Nope, it doesn't work. See, it just wants to go, it doesn't want my eye squint to go that low. So let me just bring it back here. It's the same thing with this other eye squint. As a matter of fact, this one's even harder to distinguish what to do. Because when it starts with the keyframes, and I kind of did the same thing, you can't really tell. Gandalf's eyelid should be completely open. So I can't tell how much I'm actually squinting the eye on this one, which I think it was an actual eye movement and not the eyelid. I was trying to make his eye a little bit wider. So I kind of had to guess at it. I go back to the main line, just see where I did that effect, and hope that it looked good. Just play around with it, trial and error. Where is that one eye squint? Right there. See, his eye is kind of getting wider. So in this case, it did work with a lot of trial and error. I'm trying to think of anything else. There's hand moves that I did. which kind of morphs. It's kind of a, not really a morphing effect, but a transition effect with this hand. And it's very hard to see here because I got all the other hands are showing up. But I wanted to give a little hand move, which I pulled and moved and rotated, I guess, just moved a lot of the points on his hand. I got rid of the alt hand. Yeah, this one here. It actually is a really simple effect, but I matched it up with a hand template to make sure that I got it to look right. Yeah, right there. So that's kind of what I did for Gandalf, and now I can move on to a few other things to discuss.